Hey guys, so in this video, I am going to go over the announcement that's been posted regarding the pool release schedule. So, we're always trying to improve upon what we do. Oftentimes we take feedback from the community. We will oftentimes brainstorm and develop ideas of our own, and other times we'll create a mixture of both. So, as you know, the demand for the HFT is significant. It's very significant, and it really just it demonstrates the uniqueness, I would say, of XETA's protocol and what we offer in the use case that we have. So, as you know, the way we've typically been doing pools, and we've tried a number of different things, right? So in my last AMA, I had mentioned, hey, tell you what, we'll give you an actual date and time of the pools being released. Well, that caused the traffic to actually crash the app, right? So we've done that. We have released them slowly throughout a day. We have blasted them all out at one time. We've kind of broken them up a little bit. So we've tried a whole lot of different things. We believe we have something that's going to be the best fit moving forward. So let's talk about what that is. So instead of having these large gaps in between pool releases, we're going to be releasing pools every 2 to 3 days, beginning today. Okay, the tiers will be random. I'll explain that in just a moment. And the times that they are released will be random. I'll explain more on both of those in just a moment. Okay. Typically up to this point, we've had a lull in between the pools. And then when they're open, it's like, I saw something in Discord describe it as a cage match. That's pretty funny. I kind of, in my mind, picture, Black Friday when people used to camp out in front of the stores and then they all at one time just rush in and they step on each other and literally kill each other. That's kind of how I pictured the pools. It's like I called it rather crypto utility chaos. So instead of that, we're going to try to find a solution, and I think this is the solution that promotes more of a fair approach as well as a predictable and foundational approach that kind of creates consistency as opposed to having longer lulls and then having this chaotic entry, right? So how is this going to work? So we have developed an RNG system, and that's a random number generator. We are going to use this RNG. It's called random for a reason. It is random. However, you have the 10% tier, 15% tier, the new 20% tier, and of course the 75 zone tier. 4 different tiers, right? Because the higher you go into tiers, the higher the cap, right? And of course, the more tokens to go in. That's why the 75 fills so quickly. Therefore, when we built this RNG generator system, right, it will roll the higher tiers more often than the lower tiers. They're weighted greater than the lower tiers. So the 75 tier is weighted greater than all of them. The 20% is weighted greater than 10 and 15 is weighted greater than 10. Okay? And then 10, of course, is weighted the lowest. That does not mean they will not get rolled. It just means they will be rolled, or the higher tiers will be rolled more frequently than the lower tiers. Okay? So basically every 2 to 3 days, we are ready to open up a new pool, right? What we do is we will go and we're ready to open a pool. We'll roll. It'll say, hey, you're going to open a 75 tier. Great. We go open 75 tier. Likely gets filled pretty quickly, as they typically do. 2 to 3 days later, we roll again. Let's say we roll 75 again. Well, we're not going to open another 75, so it's always going to go to another tier. It will never be the same tier more than once in a row. It won't be twice in a row, 3 times, or anything like that. So if we rolled 75 again, we would just keep rolling until we get a different response, and then we open up that new tier. And we'll do this every 2 to 3 days. The time that we open it is going to be different, right? So, we'll try to open them in different time zones to have as much fair access as possible. We have people in Europe, we have people in America, and America's got 3 different time zones, and different days of the week determine when people are available. So we're going to try to make this really just random to kind of make it as fair as possible. Okay, but this will remove the long lull in between pools opening up. every 2 to 3 days. So you probably noticed this with the last pool release we did, actually just last night. So the last about 2 months or so, when we've had the tiered HFT system in place, it's pretty evident that the lower tiers do not fill up as quickly as the higher tier pools do. So for example, I've personally seen 10 and 15% pools be open for days, like days and days sometimes, especially the 10% one that sometimes, like, I mean, a week later, sometimes it's still open, right? So that presents a challenge, because if you deposit your tokens and you purchase blocks and the pool sits and doesn't get filled, yes, you locked in your value and that's great. However, every day that it does not fill and get sent off, those are days that you're missing in the HFT, right? Those are days of trading, valuable days of trading that are not happening. So the way to solve this, we believe, is to cut the pool size in half for the 10 and 15% tiers. So block sizes are still $750, okay, $750 in Zeta token value, but there's 50 blocks now instead of 100. So that cuts it to 37,500. Okay, this will allow the pools to fill quicker, okay, and put the funds to work faster than before. So you'll notice, for example, here's a 10% here, and here's a 15% here. This is probably a record. I've never seen a 10% pool filled this quickly. I think less than 12 hours later it was filled. So that's great. That's just an example. If it was 100 blocks, this probably wouldn't even be filled yet, which means tomorrow, in the next couple of days, it would take to fill this. Now this is already sent off and it's probably going to get trades starting tomorrow. So that's just an example of why this works a little bit better. You'll see the 15% one is still not quite filled yet, but block size quantity, I should say, cut in half. Makes these quicker to fill and allows the fund to be put to work sooner. Okay, so that will be the plan moving forward for the 10% and the 15% tiers. Obviously, if demand changes, we can always change this, but I think for now, this is what we're going to be doing with the 10 and 15% pools. Okay, so that's, I think, going to be something that really helps the lower tiers get their funds to work quicker instead of sitting around for a week wondering when it's going to get filled, right? You'll notice the 20% is barely filled. I'm going to talk about that next. So what has also happened, as you well know, if you have 75 zones or you've watched the Discord, you know this, because of the demand is so significant. I mean, I think we literally set a record. I think a pool filled in, like, I don't even know, 30, 40 seconds. The last, like, it was what was that, 2 weeks ago or so, 10 days ago. It opened up for the morning, the European time zone, and it was full like almost instantly. It was crazy. So this tends to happen, and then if you have 75 zones and the pool's filled and you miss it, then what are you going to do? You have to wait for the next one and kind of hope you get in. There has been some feedback that folks would like to be able to get into the lower pools. In other words, if you are in the 75 zone tier, get access to the 20%, get access to the 15%, get access to the 10% pools. So we are going to do this, but the feature is not built yet. So here's how it's going to work. When pools open up, if they do not get filled within 2 days, we will unlock them for all the higher tiers. For example, that 20% pool I just showed you. If that would not be filled up 2 days from now, then the 75 zone tier will get access to that. If the 15% doesn't fill in 2 days from now, then the 20% tier and the 75 zone tier will get access to that 15% pool. And of course, as you can guess, if the 10% did not fill, then all the tiers above that within 2 days would get access to that. So even if the pools are cut in half for 10 and 15%, it may, people may just want to compound. They may not fill it still. So opening them up 2 days later will definitely get them filled without question. This feature is not built yet. I'm just going to be, very clear and transparent about this. In the next couple of days, as I stated here, I'll provide a time frame on when this can be implemented. This is not going to be a heavy lift. This is a pretty simple thing to do. It just has to be put in the pipeline. So I'll get a time frame on when that will be ready. It's not ready yet. So this pool schedule will move forward without this component for now. And then, you know, a couple days from now, I'll announce when that will be built, and then that will be part of it. Okay, just wanted to be clear about that. We're going to move forward with the schedule, and then this will be implemented. This is really cool, and there's a couple of reasons. So if you've missed a 75 zone tier pool, let's say a 75 zone tier pool is rolled on the RNG, it's opened up, and darn it, you missed it again. 2 days later, we roll again, and the 20% pool is opened up. 2 days after that, for example, that pool's not filled yet, the 20%. We roll again. Now we get a 15% pool, right? So a 15% is opened up, and then the 20% is opened up to the 75. So literally the 75 zone tier in this example got access to 2 pools within about 3 or 4 days. And then maybe after that, we roll again, and another 75 opens up. You see what I'm saying? So this creates a very consistent opportunity. I don't want to use the word opportunity, but, you know, more consistency moving forward, right? So if you're trying to get in, yeah, maybe a 10% or a 15% is not as sexy, you know, as the pools that you get for 75. But I mean, it allows more access, it allows more variety, it allows options, and allows you something to do with your tokens if you happen to miss a 75 zone pool. And the 20% ones are still 75,000, whereby I'm willing to bet they will not fill up as quickly, and it's probably a high likelihood that those will be within 2 days of opening up available for the 75 zone tiers moving forward. I just get that sense. I think a lot of people in the 20% tier tend to compound up to 75. It's something that I've noticed behavioral wise, but then that can always change. But this will allow us literally every 2 to 3 days we are opening up pools. Every 2 to 3 days we are opening up access to lower pools for higher tiers. So it's going to be very exciting, and I think this is going to be something that really is going to create not just excitement in Discord, but consistency and predictability moving forward, right? And it's going to be weighted towards the higher tiers, which makes it fair. It's going to be random, which makes it fair. And the time release is going to be random, which also just makes it as fair as possible. And being able to get in the lower tiers is just going to give more options, right? So that's going to be, you know, yes, that tier will get access for the first 2 days. But being at the highest tier now at 75, if there are pools, you know, below your tier that have not been filled, you're now going to be able to get access to those in addition, right? So, you know, if they're not filled 2 days later. So this is something that we think is going to foster a lot of stability with the pool releases, and something that I'm personally excited for because is going to eliminate this longer lull and pause in between pool releases, make them far more consistent and far more scheduled, and allow you to really kind of plan out, you know, what you want to do, rather than, well, I just wasn't at my computer at the time, so now I got to wait another 2 weeks, you know, as an example. This is going to fix, I think, a lot of different problems. So anyway, guys, we're always looking to improve things. So this is going to be something that's very exciting, and this will be implemented. The schedule's already in place. The tiered access is something we're building that we'll let you know very, very soon. So continue using the utility. I love the utility. Again, this is something that I always wanted, and you know, this is now something that you guys have that typically would be out of reach for most of us. So very excited. Let us know your thoughts, and make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Join our Discord if you are not already, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care. God bless.